Hi there, I'm Ria, and I recently started one of those 50 books in a year challenges at the beginning of April. I know it's a weird time to be starting one of those challenges and not in January. The main reason why I wanted to do one of these 50 book challenges is that I love books, but I haven't been reading a lot recently, and it was really upsetting to me. And then I discovered the booktuber community on YouTube, and I was like, I want to read! Why haven't I been reading? I need to read again. So this was the incentive to do so. The first book that I read in the month of April was Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, because this is the book I'm reading for my junior thesis paper, and I've been meaning to read it forever, and it's just one of those books you should read, especially if you love science fiction like I do. And I'm really glad that I read it because it's now officially one of my new favorite books. Now, I'm really bad at giving summaries to things because when I want to tell someone about a book, I accidentally end up telling them the entire story, and that's not exactly a summary. And this book doesn't have a summary on it, and it's going to be really hard for me to explain it, so I'm just going to read the description off Wikipedia. Wikipedia says that Brave New World is a novel written in 1931 by Aldous Huxley and published in 1932. Set in London of 82,540, 632 AF in the book. AF is after Ford. The novel anticipates developments in reproductive technology and sleep learning that combine to change society. The future society is an embodiment of the ideals that form the basis of futurology. Huxley answers this book with a reassessment in an essay, Brave New World Revisited, that was published in 1958, and with his final work, a novel titled Island, in 1962. So that's a pretty good summation of the book without, describing the entirety of it. It's also one of those novels that's, on, the 100 best English language books ever, and you should probably read it within your lifetime. And it's, I think on, Times 100 books to read before you die list. So yeah, you should probably read this book regardless. And it gave me a whole lot of feels about loving literature and history and culture and not conforming to society. I mean, that's such a teenagery thing for me to say, non-conforming to society, but whatever. It made me happy reading this. I definitely recommend anyone to read this book because you should read it in your lifetime. It's just one of those books you should read. But I'd give it a 5 out of 5 stars. So go read it. And just in case you're wondering what my thesis is about, I am writing it about how the society that Aldous Huxley writes about seems like it's liberating gender roles, but in fact it's actually just reinforcing them. So the last book I read in April was The Night's Circus by Erin Morgenstern, and needless to say, I think this is in fact another one of my new favorite books. Oh, and I only really have the dust jacket because I'm lending the book out already. I literally gave it to somebody the next day after I finished it. So that just goes to show how much I loved this book. Now, like I said, I'm terrible at giving summaries, and the summary of this book stretches on 2 flaps of the dust jacket. So I'm gonna go to handy dandy Wikipedia once again and read you the summary off Wikipedia. Wikipedia describes the plot as: The Night Circus is a phantasmagorical fairy tale set near an ahistorical Victorian London in a wandering magical circus that exists only from sunset to sunrise. The Cirque de Rêves features such wonders and ethereal enigmas as a looming garden made of ice and a fire-breathing paper dragon. Its truly magical nature is occluded under the guise of legerdemain. The curious circus develops avid fans who distinguish themselves to each other by wearing the black and white of the circus tents with a splash of red. The magicians Prospero the Enchanter and the enigmatic Mr. H groom their young proteges, Celia and Marco, to proxy their rivalry with the exhibits as a stage. At stake is a question of the proper approach to magic, whether an innate talent represented by Prospero's daughter Celia, or whether as a skill that can be taught represented by Mr. H's orphan ward Marco. The two generate nightly wonders for the circus and for each other. Unaware of their mentor's designs and deadly wager, Celia and Marco fall in love. The magical courtship strains the fate laid out for them and endangers the circus. The thing about this book is that you either love it or you absolutely hate it. And I'm one of those people who fall into the category of that I absolutely loved it, but I recognize the fact as to why some people would dislike this book. The first thing you should know about this book is that the characters are kind of really dry and they're really one-dimensional, kinda, sorta. and there's really not a huge ton of character development, but there's a lot of characters, and yeah, it's like one of those books where like all the characters relate somehow and they all like intertwine. It's like imagine it's Love Actually, not a cheesy romantic comedy about Christmas with a ton of British actors, but more about people in the circus, and you're oh shit, this person's backstory relates to this person's backstory. This person relates to this person. Holy shit! You don't find yourself sympathizing with the characters all too much. Like, personally, I didn't even give a flying crap about the relationship between Celia and Marco because it seemed so strained. What I really cared about in the book was the circus itself, because the language that Morgenstern uses to describe the circus is just absolutely magical and beautiful and perfect, and I find myself wanting to go to the circus more than anything. In fact, I think the star character of this novel is the circus itself. I find myself caring more about the state of the circus than the actual characters. That's saying something because it's only the setting of this fucking book. I wouldn't recommend this book to a lot of people. I'd recommend it to the people I know who are gonna like it. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 stars because I loved it and I'd recommend it to someone who also loves it, but if you would dislike it, I'd give it a 1-star rating. Maybe even 2 stars. This is my first video into the realm of booktubing. I hope you guys enjoyed it very much. I really enjoyed doing it, and I'm really, really, really excited to go ahead and start doing more of these. Bye!